Ziggy Cross. Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm a singer.
Hi, my name is Peyton, and I'm a dancer.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are back for a very exciting comeback reaction, and we will be reacting to STAYC.
Yes, so today we are reacting to STAYC and their most recent release called Run to You. This is sign language for you. Obviously, we have watched the teasers beforehand, so we kind of know what to expect with this. That being said, though, let us just go!
Run.
I wish I looked like I was having that much fun when I went running.
Yeah, this is already different from their most recent releases lately. Already from the distortion.
All the colors are darker too.
I mean, it's still colorful, but yeah.
But they're not like bright pastels, they're like the deeper colors. That's cool.
Double A. Was that a yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? That.
I heard.
The back. Oh, that was fun.
Cool.
Both of us were just like, wow, yeah.
Are her shoulder pads shoes? Like sneakers?
Oh, I've actually seen that somewhere online. Yeah. Like tops.
Yeah. Dance break.
The chorus. It's much more like bare bones. Oh, that was pretty.
My style, I see it. Oh, I was like, what are their hands doing, Sass? So, before we officially jump into our comments, we both just have a question about the song. Where was the STAYC girls?
Oh, you were waiting for me to do it. It's going down.
At the very beginning, when they actually started the verses, I was like, wait, if they wanted to like add it in for a live stage, I wouldn't be upset. But into my actual comments about the dance, some of the things that I thought were interesting. The first are the more suspended or drawn out movements, which I think are a little bit counterintuitive when you think of the concept or like the title Run to You, but fit really well musically with the song, and they accented things really nicely, especially things they were doing in the melody line. Two that stuck out to me specifically, one was in the pre-chorus, and it was sort of like the suspended walking where their arms drew up and then there was a down and their arms drew up. And I thought that was really interesting because it kind of got a little bit faster on the second one before their movements built and built and built. So with the like idea of Run to You and with the musical build-up that you're getting into the chorus anyway, it highlights that and reinforces that. But it also in my mind was like, oh, you know, when you first start like running before you start sprinting, for most people, unless you're like a runner, you're like a little bit slower and then like you progressively get faster. So it's sort of like that build-up of like, I'm running, like I'm trying to get to you and getting faster and faster as well. So that one stuck out to me. But then also the in the chorus stuck out to me as well, just because it was so like well matched to the music and it really emphasized that moment. It was sort of like a breath for you in the dance, because the dance really does keep moving for a lot of the chorus, especially. There's not a lot of pauses or a lot of breaks, and so those moments are really nice to sort of give your eyes a little bit of a moment before they start going faster again, which is equally as important as having choreography to have those rest moments. And that was more of a danced rest moment, so that stuck out to me. Something else that I really liked was, obviously with a concept about running, there was a lot of footwork. It especially stuck out to me in the dance break, the more interesting foot patterns, where there was a lot of shifting weight too, but just the whole dance had a lot of very interesting footwork, because while they did also have arm movements and upper body, a lot of the choreography was set around what they were doing in their lower body, which makes sense for the concept as well. And the last thing I wanted to talk about that I found the most interesting were the opposing directions that they had in their dancing. And I noticed it in the music video, and then I just watched the dance practice to check and see if I was actually seeing what I thought I was seeing. A lot of the movements will be facing stage left, which is their left, and then they will have something dragging behind them, which almost feels like being pulled in a different direction, and then the movement will eventually come back around. But it just sticks out because so much of it is facing one direction, but it is sending energy the other way, the opposite direction. That's also really important, because since they are sort of telling the story of like, I'll run to you, and so they're obviously trying to like show movement in a specific direction, a lot of the energy will be sent in the direction they're facing. But if you kind of completely forget about the other part of the stage, it can start to look dead. That is the word you actually use in dance. It starts to look dead on the other part of the stage because it's sort of lacking energy. So sending energy in both directions in that manner actually makes the dance a lot more interesting, and it fills the stage better. And so it like stuck out to me as soon as I started seeing it in the chorus. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. STAYC girls. Anna's gonna talk about you now.
Hello, it is time for my comments now, and I think the first thing I'm going to say is just what I was saying throughout it too. Like, it's pretty minimalistic for what you typically would expect from a STAYC song. I mean, they've had enough releases before this one now to like expect a certain style, sound from them. I guess we should have expected it when there was the absence of the STAYC girls that's going down, that this is going to sound a little bit different. There just like weren't as many layers to this song as you would usually expect. There were still like ornamental instruments like there are typically in past STAYC releases, but the kind of instrument being used as an ornament is very different. So instead of like, I don't know, the kind of chimes that you would hear in Stereotype, higher pitched, sort of sweet sounding instruments, in this one, you heard more distortions. Like that line that's in the chorus that you hear after the "so I run to you" and then the ba-da-da-da-das, all of those are very distorted sounding. The best word I could come up with was sort of like swanky feeling. The whole song too is giving you the feeling of like swaying from side to side, like the "so I run to you" da 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 da. There's still a little bit of that sass in there too, because of the way that the da 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 line, distorted line, is being played as well. You get that feeling in the intro of the song too. Those notes don't exactly hit the pitch straight on. There's kind of like a sinking feeling to it when those sinking feeling pitches are being played in that line, in that sort of rhythm. It adds that like swaying effect. But another thing really interesting about this song that's different for them is like it's very bass heavy, which you really feel in the verses, because the verses are especially like pretty minimal, but you feel the bass. it feels reflective of overall, like you mentioned, how the colors are like not as bright, like less pastels and more rich, like darker colors, which I feel like the bass sort of represents auditorily. So overall to me, I'm like, oh, this is a clear, distinct change in the group's style and sound to represent like stepping into this new chapter of life for the group, I guess, like showing growth, basically. And you also kind of got that from the shots in the music video as well. It felt less like, I don't want to stereotype, but like it felt less trendy TikTok girl that you think of. And it felt a little bit more glam, especially like all the solo shots did.
Is that why there was no Stacy girls? Because they're not girls anymore, they're young women.
Oh, maybe. And then the last thing I was going to say was just like you kind of notice that sass element as well in the melodic lines that they're singing, because obviously there are sustained notes, like it's literally written out like this note is going to be this many beats long, but it doesn't linger further than that. Like, you know how in some songs there's like that crying out sort of feeling of a sustained note that just lingers. In this one, because the song is more rhythmic, all the notes are very like cut off straight to the point. Especially you notice it in like the verses, especially when there's like consonants that are next to each other. It's sort of like boom, 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 like syllable, 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 and then it's just cut off, which I think is really interesting because it feels more like speaking, not speak singing, but it does give more of an effect of like, I'm speaking this to you, which maybe it's like run to you, sending my message straight forward to you, perhaps. That's all I have to say. But I can TLDR for this. So TLDR for this reaction is, first of all, congratulations to Stacy on their latest release. As you can tell from our comments, and if you watch the video, this seems to be a new sort of sound style for Stacy girls. Maybe not girls, maybe young women now. That is still in the Stacy realm of what we come to expect, but showing a little bit more maturity now that they have establish themselves as a group a little bit. So we are curious to see where they're going to be going in this growth, maturity direction.
Yes, but if you are also curious to see where they will be going and want to talk more about Stacy, about this comeback, anything really, come find us on our socials, which I linked in the cards. And as always, if you enjoyed this reaction video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and bye!